Our next update is an update on the Default Protect project. Joining us to present are Jess Shoup and Tom Sue. Please take it away, Jess and Tom.
Thank you, John. We're going to talk about Default Protect today. Tom, if you wouldn't mind, before we get into the slides, would you please just, in case anybody has missed it, tell what the purpose of our project is for Default Protect?
Certainly. We were aiming at trying to reduce our threat profile. By having an open network, we had a huge exposure.
Yeah.
And by reducing that, we're turning off things that don't necessarily constitute university business, or things that people did casually and not necessarily with a concerted approach to protect their systems. And so making it simpler for us overall, for the users as well as the university overall.
Excellent, thank you. So right now, our current state of our project, we are going to change some of the edge rules of our firewall to make sure that we are protected at our university. Our campus had a default allow, and so now we are no longer going to do that. We're going to put us in a protection state. So right now, when we put us in a protection state, what does that really mean? That really means that we're going to make sure that if you are not on campus, but you're trying to access a system on campus, that you do it in a secure way. So we're going to change our approach. We are endorsed by the President Snyder. Thank you for that, President Snyder. We are focused on protecting our crew IT systems. We have an exception process in place, so for those of you that do need to access systems and you're not on campus, we will allow that. So what is our status? We actually officially today have completed the project. This morning, our final Default Protect initiative was completed. And as of right now, if you are off campus trying to access a remote system that has not been included in the exception process, you will have difficulty getting to that system. So what's our next steps? Help us spread the word, please. We need to make sure that if there is a critical system that needs to be accessed remotely, that we get you into the exception process. Here are some of our targeted completion dates, which we have met. And we'd like to know if there are any questions.
Thanks, Jess, and thanks, Tom, for that update. If a faculty member at the university has a system that does need access, can you talk about what the process is to request an exemption?
Absolutely. Our official process should be to call the help desk directly, which is 216-368-HELP. You give us a call, we'll note it in the process, and we'll get your request routed to the appropriate people. It's important to know that we are going to try to accept as many exceptions as possible. We want to make sure that your systems, your research, your education materials are all accessible at all times. However, we may have a situation if it poses a significant security threat that we may ask you to do alternatives instead of the exception. But we will work with you through this process to make sure that you have everything you need.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Tom. There was a question that talks about a link from the audience, a link to the procedure to the exception process, but I believe we're mostly pointing them to the help desk. And Jess and Tom, I wasn't sure if there was anything you'd like to add.
That's a really good question. I'm so glad they asked, because there was a little bit of confusion around that. We are pointing them to the help desk mainly. However, we are still working on a form, which will probably be coming out live in the next couple of weeks, which will make it easier and expedited for those that do need an exception to get that process. But that form is not quite ready yet.